Good afternoon. It is 5:34 p.m. It is Friday. Happy Friday to everybody who actually works. I'm not working right now, so Friday is just like any other day, but it's probably a celebration for you, so good for you. So I just got home recently and I put away the things that I got. Went to the dollar store, picked up a couple grocery items, and earlier today I had to go to a job interview. Now, I'm trying to be as detached as I possibly can. And mind you, this particular job, I would say that I was not qualified, but I am qualified. It's like I haven't really done like what do you call it, like the tax part of payroll in like years. Okay, so everything has changed. I forgot about payroll. I mean, like the only thing I do in the last few years was just like enter payroll, but actually prepare taxes and stuff like that. So it just like whatever. I was completely indifferent to the job interview. I was not like all smiley and happy and ready to go like I used to be. I went because I had to, and really, I don't like that attitude, but it is what it is. And then, as everyone knows, I'm making plans for myself, and I'm sure the collective. The collective is the people who are behind this. I'm talking about Karen Johnson and all the people that she brought in that I didn't want to be brought in. I know they've arranged jobs for me in the past, and I'm making plans for myself. I don't mind working a job, but I also want to do my own creative thing, and however that turns out, it turns out. But I'm trying to avoid being overly stimulated. Right now, the whole job search thing, it does cause a lot of triggers, and that sucks because you got to make a living, right? You got to make a living. And I'm not in a position to get, what do you call it, psychiatric help because of the targeting issue. And I really don't trust their help anyway. I remember in the past, going out and seeking it. This is before I really developed an aversion and a what do you call it, a justified aversion to like health services and stuff. But when I was younger, I would say like in the 90s, I remember going to see a doctor to get whatever happened to me, I would go straight to the doctor because I believed in like the what do you call it, the medical industry, which I don't anymore, right? But anyway, so the last time I recall getting some, what do you call it, psychiatric help is when one of the first times I had to get out of work because of their targeting issues. And this was back in 2009. And they had me go to this like facility over in, I think it was Stockdale, right? I think it was Stockdale. Anyway, it was like every Wednesday we'd meet and talk about our problems, and then we'd line up and get our meds. It was just really ridiculous, really. And it wasn't anything that really helped me. I think that people relied a lot on medicine to try to like make a problem disappear, but the problem is that I was being stalked and I was being harassed at work. And of course, that's where you got to target the root of the problem, because you can get, have a great time taking antidepressants. You can be in la la land, but the fact of the matter is somebody's still targeting you and ruining your life. So what are you going to do about it? You really do need full focus, basically, when you're dealing with targeting. So, but I do deal now currently with depression. And, it's one thing for people to say, oh, get over it. I think I've talked to people in my videos about the psychological effects. Post-traumatic stress disorder is not something that you can just shrug your shoulders at and just say, okay, it's okay. I think somebody who's dealt with multiple, decade after decade, seriously, this is like a 20-year span of being harassed in the workplace. I would say that I'm surprised I'm still alive. There's a lot of people who just give up. And there are some people who deal with what I'm dealing with, and they basically said, I'm going to go out and get disability or something like that. They cannot function anymore. So I would say at least I'm doing better than they are. You know what I mean? It's like I always knew that I could only rely on myself, and the people that I used to know, I wouldn't trust them, as far as I could throw them. And this is not me conjuring up a fight, it is just what it is. And I'm sure everyone who's around me who knew about this covert situation with people doing things behind my back can vouch for me on that one. So Maria's on her own. So Maria has to just keep on marching, keep being strong. But today, after the job interview, and really, I kind of expected to kind of bomb out on that one, only because, like I said, my payroll tax skills aren't not what they should be. And so after the interview, which lasted about 10 minutes, I immediately went into doing something else. I drove to the store, got a couple of grocery items, and then I went to the dollar store and picked up a couple things, okay? Because I don't want, it's enough to look for work when all of that causes triggers. It traumatizes, it causes me to stirs up fear, causes anxiety, causes anger, depression. I can't tell you the emotions that it stirs up in me, because it's a lot of pent up frustration of years of abuse, basically. And so that's basically how I identify work with. And that's sad too, because I'm going to tell you what, I used to love going to job. It was so exciting for me. Like the night before, I'd have my little papers and my little notes of my research of the job that I was going to, and I would say my interview questions. I mean, I was little miss, I'm so into my job type thing. And I have talked about what I've been reading online about people just really getting disgusted with the workplace. Hey, I get it. It's a very thankless place. It's a very abusive place, and you got to watch your back. Seriously, I can't tell you the corruption goes on in those kind of places, really. So what I'm looking for is, and it's hard to find in the business world, but whatever I do in my life, I don't want to follow in the footsteps of unethical people. And so this is something that people who complain about the business world and what they find unhappy, what causes them the pain that they have to deal with at work, make sure you understand what you don't like and never inflict that on another human being. Maybe let that be a lesson to you, to what you want to incorporate in your business practices, because I will tell you, I would never do something like that. Never. And I know it's very difficult, and you know what, with this new venture that I'm going into, and I'm learning a lot, really, and I'm actually quite, how can I say this? I'm amazed at how much things that are going on out there in the world that I really wasn't really aware of. I mean, I wasn't. Like, you see things like this all the time. You see emails, you see websites, you see stuff like this all the time. But what actually goes into them, it's like, okay, that's kind of interesting, really. But whatever I do in my life, and I don't expect to be a billionaire or something like that, as far as, I just want to make a decent living. I want to make a decent living, and I don't ever want to be an unethical person. I don't ever want to hurt or cause anyone the kind of harm that people have caused me. I couldn't look myself in the mirror if I ever did something like that to another human being. So for the people who are out there complaining about and expressing truthfully, you're expressing something that is true. We all know that a lot of the workplaces out there, they're hell. They are hell, and if you could acknowledge that, then you can change that. You can't change the world. Forget about changing the world, but you can be something better. You can make sure that you don't contribute to what this hellhole is. You don't have to be like them. So I suggest that you learn from this experience, and this is something that I want to do. Now, I will always be a little guy. It doesn't matter how smart I am, it doesn't matter whatever. Okay, I will always be the little guy. And what I mean by that is that I don't believe that you can get highly successful without being completely unethical. Okay, I really don't. And this is how I feel. And so, and my observation on things, so I'm going to tell you, it's a world that exists on abuse. When I think about the business world, I do think of it as an abusive place. As a matter of fact, there's a depiction. I don't know if you guys are familiar with tarot cards. I'm not like a master at them, and I don't really suggest using them, but I do know that there's a devil card. Okay, and the devil card is depicted, of course, with the devil, and then on both hands he's got a woman and a man, and they're chained. They're chained to this devil, And when I think about that, I think about the old phrase, no, material gain is always the devil's domain, right? But I will tell you, the kind of materialism that a lot of people have, they are chained to it. They are bound and chained to it. And don't get me wrong, we want to enjoy our careers. We want to enjoy what we do. This is the sad part. There's some people who've parents who spent a lot of money putting them to college only so they can hate their goddamn life. Doesn't that suck? That sucks, right? I mean, they build you up with these ideas of dream jobs. And I would say if somebody did, okay, let's just say, for example, I didn't, okay, but if I did, if I had a family that paid for my college, okay, my parents paid for me to go get my master's degree, right? And I come around talking about I hate my job, what the hell? With all the money that you spent and the time that you spent, and you're going to say, oh my God. See, we've got to, I don't know what the hell we can do to fix this situation. I don't think we can. I think it's hell. I really do think that we live in hell, and this is the way it's going to exist, okay? But there could be alternatives. Could we ever be as rich as these people? No. But we can certainly live a decent life, and we can have a good conscience. And we could, be, for people who are into minimalism, that's great. That's great. Because we don't have to sit here and adapt. We don't have to adapt to that kind of world, that way of thinking. Greed is just something, whew. I will tell you, people can be so selfish, they will not know when to stop taking. They will take your whole goddamn life. Hey, you know what? I should know. Okay. Anyway, enough of my bitching. So, yeah, after the job interview, I needed to switch modes. So I'm doing things I'm trying to do things to help my mind. Because there's a lot of inactivity. What I mean by inactivity is like, there's no reason for me to leave my house. Okay, and I need to leave the house. Okay, now, of course, I think like about a week ago, I walked up to Walmart. And so it's a good idea for me to go out for a walk every once in a while. Mind you, it's hot as hell, and the only times to go out for a walk is like early in the morning or in the evening, right? But being idle all the time is very sad. Now, obviously, I have a lot of work to do, and I've been working a lot. I mean, like, I've been studying a lot, but there's days where I feel like sad, like the sadness just comes over me, like I can't get over what happened to me. There's a lot of mourning over, the time that I lost. Not even just the time that I lost as I'm talking about my teen. I'm literally somebody who is looking back mourning my life. And so I feel like every single day needs to be like lived. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really eager to live. I want to live, to the fullest. This moment. Like today, like starting today, and there's a lot of people who feel this way, and so why waste your time, So if you can do something that's going to bring you joy on that day, do it. You know what I mean? Don't worry about what other people think of you, because you know what, people, as this pretty much sums it up and it proves it, people really don't give a fuck about you. I mean, that's just the bare bottom line. And so if you constantly sacrificed yourself for the needs of other people, they will soon forget what you did for them, okay? And you will mean nothing, and it'll be a waste of your time. Meanwhile, you're completely discontent with yourself. Give out love wisely. And what I mean by that is like, you don't want to sit here and have to put people to the test, but you'll see in your life who is good to you and who isn't. And you have to you really have to evaluate that and say, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go on out for you. Like, there's certain people you don't let borrow money. You don't give them, do not give them certain privileges. Don't stop putting people on a pedestal that don't deserve it. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Really think about what love means, and think about who deserves it and give it accordingly. And, and save your love for people, like I said, who really deserve it, because most people don't. just saying, they don't. So anyway, back to my my need to get the blood circulating into my brain, like find something exciting to do. And I hate to say this, but there's things that I'm having a really hard time igniting that fire, like that spark in my brain. There's days where it surprises me. It seems like I get more energy now in the evenings, like around 6 o'clock in the evening, and this is when I feel like, oh, I'm in a better mood, like everything's so much better. I don't want to be one of those night people. Okay, I've always liked my routine, but as I get older, that might be switching, and so I have to adapt to that, because whatever is going to be for the best for me mentally, if it's better for me mentally and how I'm going to function to be more of a night owl, then be it so. But I would prefer it not to be. But if that's the way it is, I have to roll with the punches. You know what I mean? And whatever that is. But one thing is for sure, I definitely need to gain enthusiasm back in my life as soon as possible. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to come on here and make this video. I do have a lot to do. I'm learning a lot. And you know, it's unfortunate, but I can't let, you know, things like bomb job interviews or just job interviews or looking for work or talking about work or knowing that things like that have to exist at this point. It can be very triggering for me. You know what I mean? So it is a baby step. It's a baby step all alone. And there's a lot of targeted individuals that may be dealing with that. And if you are, you know, I sympathize with you. I totally sympathize with you. It's a lot on a person. It really is. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I'm looking forward to the weekend and doing some cleaning and getting myself mentally prepared for what's coming up in the next week. I've got some things I got scheduled and things I've personally planned for myself to get done. And, you know, I would say I have to be on myself to pick myself up. You know what I mean? Like, I have to be my best friend and care about myself and show that care to myself. And I must not be like, I must not, you know, give in to like, well, you know, like, well, just because I'm not feeling well, I still need to pick myself up. Like, I literally need to kick myself in the ass. Okay. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm working on right now. So anyway, I'm going to go. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.